Assalamualaikum everyone. Today we're going to have a very interesting and insightful conversation with Mr. Farooq Khan, who's the CEO of Pakistan Stock Exchange, on reigniting growth and attracting foreign investors. On behalf of Trustmark, I would really like to thank you for giving us this opportunity. Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
PSX, as you know, has been Asia's best performing markets, and in fact, it has been ranked as the fourth best market across the world in 2020 because the government dealt with all the COVID challenges really well, and it has made an effort to put the economy back on track. Under the governance of Mr. Khan, the exchange has seen several initiatives being taken, be it the ETFs or the expansion of tenors in the futures contract, the new listing of the launch of the GEM board for SMEs and startups, and perhaps there's also a trading and surveillance platform being installed for the market. The volume of new listings has also gone up. In fact, it has been the highest in the last 15 months so far. Um, but for some reason, traders still think that the volumes are not up to the mark. The volumes can be higher. And if we compare it with our regional peers like India, our holding of foreign investors is 15% compared to India's 20%. So, on that note, Mr. Khan, I would like to ask you what short term and long term plans does PSX have specifically to increase our foreign investor base?
Great. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming and talking to me today. And just to add to what you were saying, yesterday, I believe Pakistan rupee has also been one of the best performing currencies in Asia. So any foreign investor who had invested on PSX would have gotten a double benefit. Not only the increase in prices, but also the increase in the value of the rupee. So it will be a double whammy. So I hope that would be some point that you would highlight, and that will attract foreign investors. When the market opened back in 1991 to international investors, Pakistan has consistently been in the sphere of one of the major either emerging markets or frontier markets, and some of the largest investors in the world, long only as well as hedge funds, etc., have been regularly investing in the Pakistan market. And these things come and go in waves, because what's happening in a particular country, what's happening in emerging markets globally. Recently you've seen there has been quite a lot of risk off kind of mindset globally because of the COVID-19 situation, which has seen selling happening in all parts of the developing and emerging markets. I think the way, as you mentioned, the response that both the government, the fiscal policies, the aggressive monetary policies, as well as social policies that the governments have followed, which has resulted in a much better handling of this COVID crisis by Pakistan, and also the way PSX and SCCP have responded in terms of making sure that there was uninterrupted trading in the market, and all the other regulatory changes that we made will continue to attract more and more foreign investors to come in. But at the same time, I would like to say that it's perhaps not very healthy to be just, we want all investors to come into the market. We don't really matter whether they are domestic or international. We would like to encourage all investors, and in fact, it's even more important for us to have a broader and a more active and healthier domestic investor base. When domestic investor base is healthy, the foreign investors will come in any case. So that is very much our focus. That we are working with SCCP to make the account opening much easier. As you mentioned, we've launched ETFs, which are particularly good for retail investors, and under this Roshan digital accounts for overseas Pakistanis, and in fact for international investors to have exposure to the Pakistan market.
Yes.
So I hope with all these measures, the investor base will continue to grow, which is needed in our market.
Yes, and I believe that has been one of the targets of the PSX since the last CEO was here, and we always pushing this agenda forward.
And because it's important for the whole ecosystem to grow. Because in fact, for retail investors, it's much better for them to come through mutual funds if they don't have the time or the knowledge of how to select stocks, etc. Then rather than trying to trade and making mistakes, it's better for them to identify good mutual funds and invest through them. So we've seen I'm very focused on developing the whole ecosystem which has to develop if the stock market has to develop. So whether it's the mutual funds, whether it's life assurance companies, whether it's insurance companies, pension funds, these are in fact the largest investors in any stock market in the world. And we are seeing that all these industries are still small, but are starting to grow rapidly now, which bodes well for the long-term growth of the market.
Absolutely, that's correct. Mr. Khan, you would also agree with me that globally the volumes in derivatives and the leverage instruments are usually higher than the cash derivatives. Over time, PSX has introduced index futures and now the ETFs, but traders still seem wary of investing in these instruments. So, what steps can the exchange take to increase the volume and the liquidity in these leveraged instruments to at least bring it to par with our regional peers like India and Bangladesh?
Sure. Sure, you're right. Generally, the derivatives or the futures markets volumes are higher than the ready or the cash market. In Pakistan, it's the opposite right now. So there are two, three things, important things that we're doing. One, we are re-looking at the whole structure of the futures market in Pakistan. Right now, we only have 30-day futures and a very restricted and a small list of stocks that are in the futures market compared to the ready market. So there are like 50, 60 stocks in the futures market compared to say 530 stocks in the ready market. So it's no surprise that the volumes are lower. So we have re-looked at the criteria, and we have now sent our recommendations to the SECP to expand the list of the futures shares that are eligible for futures trading, as well as to introduce 90-day futures. So this pressure that we see at the end of every month when the 30-day contract is expiring, that will then get eliminated, and that leads to unnecessary volatility in the market. So we are hopeful. We've had discussions in principle with the SECP as well as with NCCPL. They are ready for the risk management. So we are hopeful that these reforms will go through, which will add to the volumes and the ability and variety to the traders. As you know, we are in the process of implementing a new state-of-the-art, world-class trading system with our Chinese partners from Shenzhen Stock Exchange. Once that is implemented in early part of 2021, that will allow us the ability to introduce derivative products like options, which we are not able to do in our current system. So I think you will see a lot of activity happening in the derivatives market in 2021, inshallah.
That should be great news for traders.
Yeah.
And in your view, why isn't margin financing widely used, and what is your outlook on that?
So globally, if you see the logical way of providing margin financing is, if you open an account with a broker overseas, if you've deposited, $1,000, you get a letter back saying that your trading limit is $1,500. They automatically give you a margin limit. Now we used to have something called Badla, which had its good and bad points. Unfortunately, at one time, the bad points overwhelmed the good points, and that product was, done away with. And then we introduced other products like MTS, etc. These are somewhat inelegant ways of providing margin financing and leverage. So we have to now develop the more logical and traditional ways of margin financing, where brokers and then eventually banks provide margin financing to their clients. So we are in discussions with both the Brokers Association as well as the SECP to see how we could start this system in Pakistan, which I think and our brokers also have to step forward and develop their businesses and show the maturity and the risk management to be able to provide such margin financing to their clients. So that is how I see that's the logical development for Madan financing in Pakistan, as it has been in any market in the world.
Right. And do you think investor education would help in this scenario?
No, investor education is always important. And I think at the same time, not just investor education, but also sales and trading education. So the brokers' staff, they need to be some minimum level of qualifications, that need to be done as it happens everywhere in the world. So these are all areas that we need to work on to develop the market.
Mm. Current trading practices revolve a lot around insider information, what we famously know as tips, where only a few select have superior information. As a governing body, how could PSX ensure transparency and unbiased spread of information?
So I'll answer that in two. That's an important question. And first of all, I'd like to say that there's no market in the world where there isn't insider trading that happens. But that's not to at all condone it. And wherever it happens, we must stamp it out. And both PSX and SECP are very, very focused on it. We have been somewhat constrained in the past because of the old trading and surveillance system that we have. As part of this new trading system that I mentioned to you, we have also taken a state of the art surveillance system, the pilot version of which has now been implemented, and the main version will be in place by early part of 2021. And that will provide us two things. One, the security of the data in the new trading system will be world class. So if anyone thought that there were such insider information available, which we believe there is not, then that will be even more secure. And secondly, the surveillance system will allow us, if in case any such abuse does happen, to be able to trace it and track it down much more effectively than the PSX and SECP have been able to do it so far. And we are also sharing this surveillance system with the SECP. So their ability will also be greatly enhanced once this new system is implemented. And the market is quite a large size, so there are two things to it. One is tips. Everyone wants tips, and I keep telling people who call that if you try and trade on tips, you will generally always lose money. People make money by buying good shares and holding them for the long term, and that is what I would. And I've seen people have made so much money in the Pakistan market who bought good strips and held on to them for the long term. Unless you are very lucky or very gifted, if you try and trade, you generally lose money.
Yeah, so you can be lucky if you work on tips, but you can be a good trader if you work on the market.
No, if you may be lucky once or twice working on tips, but I've seen that generally you in the long term still lose money because no one gives tips just like that.
Right. And coming to debt instruments, we barely see any tradable instruments on the exchange. Um, what steps? What is the PSX doing to increase the debt investment opportunities?
So debt is a huge strategic growth area that we see for PSX, and we've already taken a number of steps on this. As you saw, we've done large sukuk issues. In fact, we saw the record-breaking 200 billion PHL sukuk issue that took place in March under the lockdown, heavily oversubscribed. And for the first time, it was done on a book building basis. Then we saw the KE sukuk that came through. Now Bank Alphala is doing a sukuk issue. So we are continuing to see a growth in the debt market that's listed on PSX. We have recently worked with SECP and we have opened up and widened the definition of who can be market makers in debt instruments. And next week, inshallah, we are going to welcome Bank Alphala as the first non-broker market maker in debt issues. So we are having that signing ceremony. Sorry, not next week, later on this week. So that will also develop and give depth to the debt market. We've also in discussions with the central bank and with other participants as to how government debt securities could be better traded on PSX. But definitely corporate debt and sukuks, you're going to see continuous growth in that.
Yes, because I think like you said, it gives more depth and exposure to the investor.
Yeah.
You mentioned RDA earlier, the Russian digital accounts, and I heard that more than 40,000 accounts have been opened. What quantifiable impact does PSX see in the stock market from this initiative?
Look, it's still early days, but it's a hugely important initiative, and I'm really very grateful to the central bank, to the Ministry of Finance, to the SECP, that when we had our discussions, they were very open to also allow stock market investments to come under the umbrella of Russian digital accounts. So now, for the first time, people sitting outside of Pakistan can completely open their online accounts both for their banking needs as well as their brokerage accounts for investing on PSX. And we are hopeful that we will also be able to make similar arrangements for domestic investors. So it becomes easier for them also to be able to open online accounts. Um, it will take some time, but I think it's an extremely important and positive step forward.
Do you believe that the Naya Pakistan certificate is being pushed more than the opportunity to invest in the stock market?
Look, Naya Pakistan instrument provides very attractive returns to investors, and it's a very important instrument. So that investors will take the view. They have completely different risk profiles and return profiles. So if you want a safe investment with a good ongoing return, the Naya Pakistan instrument certificate is for you. If you have a greater risk ability and would like to get higher returns, then stock market investments are for you. So over time, people will adjust their portfolios. So if you're investing $100, you might put $60 in the Naya Pakistan certificate and $40 in stock market investments or ETFs. So that and people will keep changing those portfolios. The main thing is that the access is there, and it's open for investors to be able to take action.
And they're probably more risk averse after the COVID.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So these things change over time.
Yes. And a great initiative that the PSX has taken is to launch the GEM board for SMEs and startups. How many listings do you expect by the end of this fiscal year? And what other offerings are there in the pipeline for the investor?
Look, on our main board, as you mentioned, we had no listings for the last 15 months, and we've already had 3 since July this year. Those are equity listings. Then we've had debt offerings as well, and we have a good full pipeline. So we will see a number of other listings coming on the main board. The GEM board has just been launched, so it's new. Companies are still trying to understand it, advisors are still trying to understand it, and we've had a lot of interest and inquiries. And I'm quite confident that we will see some listings in this fiscal year, but it's difficult to say how many will, because it's a good 6, 8, 12-month cycle for companies once they start thinking of listing to be able to get themselves ready to go through the whole regulatory process. But again, the important thing is that it's now open. That avenue is there for smaller companies to be able to raise capital. The regulatory requirements are much simpler. The listing fees and costs are much lower than coming on the main board. So I'm sure over time it'll be a very successful avenue for smaller companies. And SMEs are the backbone of any economy, and it's important that they're able to raise capital for the growth of Pakistan's economy.
So if I were to sum the activity of PSX in the last 8 months, this calendar year, I would say it has really become investor-centric because I see all these initiatives and this new fervor and enthusiasm to actually bring in boards and link up different organizations to make this platform, to make the stock market a real investment opportunity for our local and our foreign investors.
And also for companies to be able to raise capital. Because the market has to be robust, transparent, and serve all stakeholders, not any specific category of stakeholders.
True, absolutely. We thank you so much, Farooq Saab, for having us over and for giving us this time.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking out the time to talk to me.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.